Cool. Do we want to check in with Cirrus and George?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. George, I know you can hear us because you can hear us. You're on mute, so we'll unmute you and have you give us a check-in of like what's going on and what you guys experienced yesterday and anything we can support with, and also too like the awesome work that happened yesterday too with Butch. What
All right.
more for him?
Can you make me
Yep. Oh, hold on.
co-host?
Yep. You're already full on the screen, so hold on. Make co-host. Got it. Yes, got it.
Just spotlighted for now. We can take it off. So
Hold on.
she's just done. Well, she's getting the fines off the ground. She's not quite in the she's not as open this morning to interacting. So, but maybe she's more open to communicating without touch because she's still.
You know what we could do?
There's still food on the ground.
How about we actually too, let's do a communication with her, and I want to check in with her. Ask her what was her experience like yesterday with George. What was it for her? Because one of the things I'm super interested in is not as much like how much we as humans make headway with them, but like what's their perspective of it? What's her awareness of what happened for her yesterday?
Yeah.
And also too, like as we're tapping in and communicating with her from that quantum entanglement level, just notice too, does anything start to shift in her just from the communication directly with her being? We're not trying to train her at this moment. We're not trying to do anything. We're just offering a different level of energy and asking her questions if she chooses to respond.
Hi. Can I come say hi now? Hi.
And what we're also looking at here is, okay, so we have the physical energy, right? With the animal, and George is phenomenal, right? And being in that chi state. So we know he's not in a push state. We know he's not in a driving state. So that's a certain level of energy. And then communicating from a distance and also asking her how she feels about things. I would say it also falls in that energy range. But just notice, are there any differences or any softening in her or any not wanting to communicate? Like, we're playing in this field, right? We're really just through the quantum field, we're like seeing like, what actually do the animals respond to? Like, how do they feel? And what goes on from their perspective? So what comes up?
I keep getting the word curiosity. And actually, when you said playing with this, it was like, yeah, we're playing with this. I'm curious. And what? I'm curious to find out, but can I come back to myself? Kind of.
That's her perspective, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And you can also ask her too, because yesterday kid you not. I mean, this girl was in Zen zone. Her energy relaxed in so deeply, and she stayed in that zone for a while. So I asked her too, like, awesome. So what were you experiencing then? What did you land up processing for yourself? And how is it today for you? How are you feeling right now? Right? 'Cause she had her experience yesterday. We don't know how much of it she's holding on to. We don't know how much of it she moved through, but where does she feel like she is now? And again, we're not projecting anything on her, right? We're not looking at her body language and going, oh, well, I think. It's like, no, we're communicating directly with her to say, would you share with us? Would you share with us what that was like for you? And George, you too, because even though you were 100% connected with her, sometimes we're so in it that we're just so in the moment of the energy. Like, what's her communication to you between yesterday and today about, like, okay, where is she at today? Like, was she able to take in so much yesterday, but today is a different day? Is she processing it through her horse brain? Like, I can totally hear you. Ooh.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think I don't know, I keep on in these initial steps or initial phases with
Mhm.
gaining trust and gentling a horse.
Mhm.
It's similar to dating. It's like, wow, you had a really great date.
Mhm.
And then the next day, it's like, you're almost like, wow, that was almost too good.
Yeah.
And then it's all the thoughts and you're waiting for that phone call or you're like, do I make the call? Do I, you know, all of the, it's like, wow, that was great. But what if it isn't the next time? Or what if, you know, I think there's still that she's working through and it's going to take a couple of more really good sessions. And there might be a couple that we just don't really, on the surface don't accomplish much, but maybe underneath we are.
All right. And from a trainer and behaviorist and rehabilitation specialist point of view, I love that. And I love that analogy. Now I want you to drop in even deeper
Mm-hmm.
to out of your head. And I want to hear directly what she is speaking to you about her. That, like, directly, like, heart to heart, what's her direct communication to you about what she experienced? Not the trying to figure her out, but the
Mm-hmm.
fully hearing her part. And this one, guys, I want you to see the differences because, like, again, like when we talk about the human scientific community, right, and the biologists and the ethologists that are studying animals, it's still, they're observing a lot, but it's still kind of coming from that mental, right, of what
Mm-hmm.
we would think or what we would interpret. Sometimes it's actually easier to close our eyes because it drops us into that state of, I'm not looking at the body language at this moment to tell me. I am actually tuning in to hear exactly what this sentient being is capable of sharing with me. Right? It's almost like going back to the movie Avatar. right? Where they were so deeply connected that they could totally hear each other's thoughts and feelings, and not as a projection, because animals have a very different understanding of the wholeness that they're experiencing on every level. So like we're humans, we might separate something into our brain, we might stuff something into our body, right? This is like, whoa, let's let ourselves drop into the actual. Let us drop into the reality that they are communicating all the time, and it's not weird and it's not woo and we're not projecting shit. It's what's possible. So look, and watch her behavior as we drop into that state. And as Bella says, "Hey mama, I hear your voice."
Mm-hmm. So yesterday, when whatever work or whatever was done with her, was it energy work?
No, it was like connection. So could George touch her? Would she come in? Did she want touch? When he stopped, right? And when he sort of said, "Okay, we're good," and he backed off, did she come into him? As opposed to, "All right, see you later, dude." Like, did she actually want more? And then also how far he was able to go from first making the touch at the nose to her being completely fine on her left side to let him go all the way down to her butt. This is the first time. It's not the first time she connected with touch, but it was the first time he could just go head to tail and she had no issue at all.
Well, it's interesting that when I try to connect, what I feel in my body is this just total relaxation of like my head and my heart, and just like it felt really good.
Mm-hmm.
There's that question. It's funny. It's like there was the question at the end. It felt so good. Can that feel good again like that?
Mm-hmm.
So she's not. It's like it felt really good, but I'm afraid maybe it won't feel as good. I don't know. I don't know if that's what she's trying to say, or
just forget about the "I don't know," right? I want you to just trust the information that you're receiving, because this isn't about right or wrong. It's about trusting what you're receiving. George, will you share also about the fact of like, okay on one side, not okay on the other side, and like kind of the theory on how horses' brains work, and that somehow they believe that, somehow the science is stating that they could be okay on one side but not okay on the other side, and the whole theory about having to do things on both sides.
Yeah. I think Dr. Stephen Peters is probably one of the best as far as really getting into the horse brain.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some really good books and good videos and stuff, but again, it just is way too scientific. But that the left sphere and right sphere of a horse is only got a bridge that's connecting like 10%. So they're almost have two small minds. And they will have a preference of wanting to put something new on one side or the other. And
And
one
while
of the
he's
thoughts,
talking about this, are you guys already seeing the shifts in her? Like, as you see what's happening of where she's shifting? Keep going, sorry.
one of the theories is being a prey animal that they're going to give you probably the side that has the better eyesight, the better ear, the better what have you. And they also want a position so that they can escape if they need to. And so not overwhelm the horse. Or she was just comfortable with me on the one side, but she's okay over here. It's just that I can't get within arm's reach of her on this side.
Not yet.
Not yet. And it'll come.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times you just really gotta, that's where the follow this method and do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and train the horse really doesn't work, because that horse might not be comfortable with you until you get to like step 6. And 6 becomes 1 in your program.
So could we do an experiment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she's okay on her left side, but it's her right side that she's having more issue with, right?
Yeah. And it's
okay.
Like right now today, she's better today on her right side than she was yesterday.
Yep. So let's tune into her. I want you to ask her, because what I'm really, really, really interested in here and what we're doing with the quantum science is, I don't believe that there's such a thing as horses. There's the horse that's in front of you, right? And that should be its own communication and connection. And you have skills of how to deal with different things with horses, but what is that particular horse asking of you? So tune into her and just see, does she have an awareness of why she's more protective or less, what do I say? I want to say flexible, but I don't mean physically flexible, in her body. I just mean the flexibility in her being of why less flexible on the right than the left. Like, what makes her feel safer on the left versus, okay, so is there an issue you have on your right? Is it a physical issue? Is it an emotional issue? So this way we're getting into that mindset of continually, not as us trying to figure it out, but let's ask the horse directly what she can share with us. So what's her awareness? And we're not looking for things body-wise, we're listening. Maybe you get a visual, maybe you hear it, maybe you feel it, maybe you know it. We're listening to her truth. And the reason why we're doing this exercise is because so often in horse quote unquote training, trainers will look at it and go, oh, she's got an issue over there. Okay, so let's keep working through that. Well, what if you actually ask the horse beforehand, right? See if they can release it, or at least to know what you're helping them release before you're starting to push them more and more. And will they get over it? Yeah, they might get over it, but they also might be in more of a shutdown about it. So what if, even in any type of training or rehabilitation, we're literally in communication with the animal, learning directly from them. And that keeps improving our level of sensitivity to all horse that might be in front of us. And things get to be moved through more easily. But what if we could hear the horse? Not just from body language, but from the true telepathic level. So she bringing up anything about her right side? Was it physical? Is it emotional? Is it psychological? And as you're communicating with her, remember too, you guys can always, if you have her permission, can also always do like a body scan, you know, to see what her physical body is telling your hands as well. So George, as you're there with her, what is she sharing with you literally through that direct telepathic communication, which could also be like a feeling in your own body? What are you aware of today with her about that right side that you might not have been aware of before, if anything?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank
Thank
she's
you.
closer to me on the right side today than she was yesterday.
Yeah. But like hearing, seeing, feeling, knowing, like what information is she giving you about here's why I'm more sensitive over here?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I know that because you're the one closest to her right now, and because you're physically seeing her in person, there's a lot of things that the mind could deduce, you know, oh, it's this, oh, it's this. But I want to see if she's communicating with you. Like, did she get double barrel kicked on her right side? Did she smack into something? Like, I want you to literally hear the truth directly from her of how she's communicating about why that right side was more sensitive for her. And if anybody else, if she's communicating to any of you guys anything, just feel free to chime in, okay?
I get that
So-
there's more peace coming in to
Yeah,
her
yeah.
from all of us. So much so that I think I just fell asleep because I felt so.
That could be because you're exhausted too with 11 puppies.
I don't know. We've been getting like 4 to 5 hours of sleep at night. It's been
Oh,
pretty
that's
nice.
good. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But I get just such a peaceful feeling from her that
Awesome.
she's allowing to come
Yes. And look at what's physically happening,
in. Mm-hmm.
right? And this is so contrast George to so many other people that train horses. George doesn't have to move the horse's feet around. George isn't trying to take control of the situation by getting the horse tired. He's in total trust and communion and connection in a very gentle, honoring way through chi. The horse doesn't have to actually get stressed out to pay attention. She's totally paying attention. But the fact that she's letting him more and more in her space, that's where the real bond is taking place. And he's doing it at the beginning of the relationship.
Right.
He's not using, you know, movement, or I don't want to say bullying type tactics, because I don't want to put that on other trainers that they're trying to bully the horse. Just simply saying they feel that they have to push something. Right? Now look at what we've got here. Now, George wasn't pushing into her, trying to make something happen. He actually stepped back and gave her the space to make a decision and a choice of what works for her.
Serious.
When I asked her way back before the experiment here, how
Yeah.
she felt, yesterday she said she felt good, and today she said she feel what I get is lighter. And then
Mhm.
she brought up younger and she said childlike.
Beautiful. No, don't judge any of
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah.
like perfect. That's what she's communicating to you that she's feeling. Awesome. Awesome. So maybe Sirius is less serious, you know?
Oh, who's the black horse in the background on the other side of the fence with the white blaze?
Clarissa.
Clarissa,
She's been
she
there
wants
the
her
whole,
second breakfast.
She's waiting to
She
come in
wants
to
her
get her
second
food.
breakfast.
it's all food driven. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
It's
so
interesting.
I have my left hand on her
Yeah.
right side of her neck.
Yeah.
Still a little uncomfortable for her.
But okay, she moved away and said, let me think about that. But can you guys see too why working with Chi and working in the Wu Wei aspect? Now look, she just took more of a step towards him. She said, okay, I got it. It registered. Let's see
But
what
she's telling
happens.
me where she's directly communicating with me where
Exactly.
she is enjoying touch right now. And
It was
somehow I
interesting
have to.
when we first started this. You talked about her sides and whatever, and I
Mhm.
just got this visual of, before you said left and right, of her left side being very light and shiny, and
Yes.
on the right side
Was what?
it was like her left side was just this really bright side, but the left side was just dark, and that was what I got. I didn't.
I felt you
Can
getting
you
that. And then I was
can
like,
you
do I say
can you
something or
see right along this meridian?
yep,
Can you see how, I mean, it's shining like a copper penny.
yep.
Yeah,
And
Where-
that's this right here is touch point that goes into the triple heater.
that's what I wanted to know, where that is.
It's
We
right
could
in
do
here.
that on Rio too.
Yeah, but it's in, and she feels really comfortable there to a point. And then she's like,
You know what, too? I want you guys to tune into her also. And look, it's peaceful. She's just processing it.
yeah,
I want
and
you
she
guys to
needs
also
that
tune into the
time.
wildness of like where she goes of, okay, I'm a wild being, not really used to touch. Check where she goes in and out of that, of what she's willing to accept in terms of sort of shifting into the human world, and where she also needs to pull herself back into, yeah, and I'm still wanting to be a wild being. Doesn't mean I'm going to react or hurt George or anything like that, but just see where and feel into with her how that process is actually going for her. Because we're always looking at the part of like, let's get the horse trained for what we want to do. George deals with restoration. So he's actually helping these horses get to a point where they can interact with humans, yet still remember and retain their wild nature. They're just making a choice to be with humans. So tune in on that level too. Beautiful girl. How's it feeling for you, George? Today
That's
compared
good.
to yesterday?
Huh.
We had to, I think she is more, because she had been starved. She's definitely got a pretty high food drive,
Mhm.
even though it's just basically nothing but some fines on the ground. And so I tried to communicate to her that she's going to get a nice bucket of hay pellets and some feed when we're done. So don't worry about the little bit that's left on the ground. You're going to get another 5 pounds of feed when we're done with class today.
I'm wondering if her right side is her wild side and she's still protecting that a little bit. I mean, I got this feeling where it's-
Ask her. Not like I wonder. Literally, just ask her what her perspective is. And look too at how George is giving her the respect. He goes in and he comes out, and notice how much she's leaning into. Hey, kind of like this guy. See how it's becoming a little more mutual?
yeah.
And not by force. It's her choice. She could walk away. She could turn her butt and just say, This is all free choice. No halters, no ropes.
I got a couple pictures. I got a picture of her resting her head on George's shoulder. And then I got a picture of, I think it relates to the child, like she's like trotting, prancing, like just totally feeling free and having a good time with it, whether she's trying to get another horse to play with her or something, I don't know, but she's happy and she's trotting around like she's a hot shit.
Awesome. Awesome.
I think her right side is the side that she is keeping to herself.
Awesome.
And it's funny, I feel this sort of, it's melting around her chest
Yes.
and it's starting to go backwards. But that's the part she's keeping of herself to herself until she's there.
See, this is the stuff that I want us and other people to understand, where everybody keeps going to, like George was talking about, right? Like these 7 steps, and this is what you do with horses. We're talking about an individual who has their own perspective. And not only are we talking about an individual that has her own perspective, she was born wild. It is not like any kind of domestication. So here we're not only observing what's taking place with, if energy is just being flowed towards her, we're literally listening to how her experience is. We're not trying to project it or interpret it. We're listening to what she's sharing with us about what it is to actually be horse, to be wild horse, to be in connection with human. We don't want to tell our truth anymore. We actually want to tell the horse's truth through every step of the process, right? The connection, the training, the life. Look at that. That's how this process is how George makes himself catchable to the horses. So he's got 26 Mustangs and 5 burros, and he doesn't go out there with halters to get horse people. he says, hey, I need you, you, and you. And somehow through the field, they show up, right? Because this is the process. This is the foundation he rebuilds with them about what humans really can be like, and that humans can really understand the truest nature of horse. There's no chasing anybody. There's no dominating. She doesn't have to walk over to him, but look at her reaching out now saying, hey, I want to have a relationship.
There's a minute there where do you know how you get like a tremulous jaw? And it was like shaking all the way down to here, like should I let it go? Should I let it go? And then it just
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's awesome that you can feel that from her, because then you understand what her whole system is going through. It is a physical thing, right? But it's
Yeah.
also all of her emotions all wound up in there, right? And then she's like, okay. But during this entire experience, is anybody feeling like she's feeling like pushed upon, or does she
No.
feel like she's being met?
She feels extremely willing to me.
Yeah, I get that too.
And how is George's way of being assisting her with her willingness, versus a trainer who'd be in there with like flags and ropes and all of this stuff before he even ever gets to the part of asking her to do something?
There's
He's
such a
only
bond.
focused on we connect.
Yeah, there's such a bond being created
Mm.
just with the touch. And she's fully accepting of it. Look at her, just wants to go to sleep.
Yeah.
She says, I love this.
Now, is this where she was when we first started, like, observing her? When we started with our segment of today's class, was she even in this place at all? Or was she just kind of like, hey, dude, I don't know about today?
I think she was a little in it because she had that peacefulness about her. But she also is just going with the flow right now. She's accepting of George and really getting that bond built of trust,
This
peacefulness.
is the Wu way of training.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
that foundational piece of making connection and trustworthy, knowing that you got a trustworthy human working with you. Now
You
look at how
can't
much, look at that.
see
Yeah.
because I'm blocking the camera, she is, but I'm on that touch point on her right side that connects to the triple heater.
And literally, guys, I mean, to me, this feels like such a huger expanse of time. This has
Mhm.
only been 30 minutes.
She's getting from George what I felt from Tahote that one day she came in and just said, this is what it feels like to be calm, grounded, and safe and secure. And it's just that quiet strength and kindness.
Right. And in a space with a human.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think she knew that
Yeah,
humans could do that.
Mhm.
I don't blame her.
Yeah. Because other humans have just taken from her and forced upon her. And George is not doing that. She's feeling closer to him because he's letting her direct what's happening. And just that
Yes.
peacefulness on her face is just beautiful.
Like he hasn't taken away her choice. He's
Mhm.
actually restoring her choice.
Yeah.
Now,
So
most,
this is actually can be a scary stance for a horse because I have my arm wrapped around like a mountain lion would be climb. So that's a level of trust. And of course, I'm vulnerable too. If she decided to lift this left front
yeah,
leg up and strike, I'm getting it right between the legs, and I'm going to be seeing stars for a long time and singing soprano. So there's a level of vulnerability that we are both in right now.
Yeah.
It is. So she isn't as comfortable with my entire body being on her right side. So I'm like, okay.
But look
But
at
she's
how much you can
really
get
enjoying the
done.
trust. Yeah. And again, it's all it's working with, well, hello. Took a little step towards. She still likes some little tasty little finds that are on the ground. But it's working and expanding with what the horse is willing to work with you at. Now I got both triple heaters going, left side, right side. I mean, this is kind of like, it's like the neck bolts on Frankenstein. Not that I'm calling a horse Frankenstein, but it's like that's where the energy flows. That's where the connection is. And you're definitely not Frankenstein. You're not the Bride of Frankenstein either.
And
You
look
are a
that even though
magnificent horse.
he's on the other side, he's on our left. Look at how much is getting accomplished on the right by him saying, okay, I'm willing to work with you where you're at. I'm not going to keep trying to go at that right side, keep trying to go at that right side, keep trying to go at that right side and put you in defensive till you just are flooded and you shut down. I want you to feel safe. And if my being on your left side, you allow me to work on your right side, when you're ready, you'll open up that right side to me. But I'm not going to push it.
Yeah, she agrees.
And the flies are a bit annoying.
Yeah.
I am really looking forward to the first freeze. Just so I'm gonna ask, she's still, there we go. I can meet up with just not sure. There it is. See? There it is.
So here, guys, read what you're reading off of. Okay. You could read what you read off of body language, but just kind of ask her, is she trying to show him something about her? Is she inviting him in? Like, ask her from the telepathic standpoint. What is it for her that she's conveying?
This session today is the first time that I've had two hands on her, and that's another step. Because now, when you have two hands on a horse, you're completing the circuit energetically. So you become part of the loop. So we have her sphere and my sphere are looping in and out. It's kind of like the infinity.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
That was
we just did what?
intense.
So that was kind of funny, actually. So, but she's gonna be, I don't know, she's every horse here is magic in their own way. I have a feeling she's gonna stand right in there with Tehote. She's very grounded. And I think as the relationship and connection grows, she'll go out with the herd once Truly heads to her sanctuary, which could be next weekend. It'll be by the end of September. And so I will be working on integrating Cirrus with Tehote and Khaleesi and some of the other lead mares. She's taking a big drink of water. Can you hear me or did I cut out?
Yeah, no, you sound
Good
great.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That mic works fabulous.
Yeah. I
I
gotta get
like it
used to
because
using
it stays consistent. It doesn't matter like if you're
Yeah.
close to the camera or farther, it stays really
Yep.
consistent to hear you clearly.
And allows me to just leave the phone
Yeah.
mounted to the fence,
Yeah.
so it frees things up. But she's
Just
So,
a
drink.
big drink.
So George, I'm like dying to know about Butch. Is he in that pasture, that big pasture?
No, he's over on the far pen.
Okay.
He's got Honey with him right now, so he's on my list. He's still wearing the halter and lead rope, so I got a lot of work to do with him, and we're getting a break in the god awful heat. So
Do you want to talk about what happened um with Butch yesterday when you worked with him?
well, I was working with him and you were working with him, so it was he's just he's got trust issues.
Yeah.
Big ones. And so, and look at her, she came back. Hi. Yes.
So Butch did make some really big shifts yesterday. George picked up his lead rope, and as they were in the pen, I was sitting on the porch playing with the kittens, and I looked over and I was like, hey, I'm going to do a little bit of body work while you're working with him, which we've never done before. And it was really cool to see the ways in Butch was starting to shift some of that trust stuff. Because I think while George has the halter on him, great time to work with those trust issues. Because he's not like, there was never a second of pulling on his lead rope, nothing. But he was having the combination instead of just focusing on one person, if he's going to trust or not, having his body simultaneously done was very, very interesting to watch because he kept giving in more and more, and he couldn't fully be in like, I'm not going to trust because he's like, oh, but something really good's happening to my body. So I think he made some pretty good progress yesterday, and she is just making incredible progress today.
Yeah, I've always felt that Butch loves the energy work. And I was communicating with him and Dakota 2 or 3 times last week about the halter coming off and whatever that
Yes.
thing is around her neck. And I'm assuming that halter on him is just a buckle and it just slips right off.
It's unfortunately it's not a buckle, it's a slip knot. So it's pretty tight. So he's gonna have to stay calm enough to either let George cut it off or to work that knot out a little bit. So he's gonna have to just be patient and not reactive.
Okay, so I'll communicate a little
Can-
differently.
And look at what's
Can
going
somebody
on.
get a screenshot of this?
How do I?
I can.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good.
See, George, she almost has her head on your shoulder.
Yeah. Wasn't that what you saw?
Yes.
Oh, it looks, she does have her head on your shoulder.
Oh,
Now here's the horse that didn't really want a lot of touch, and you see how she's the one making her way in.
Yep.
So check in and just ask her. So how do you feel from the beginning of today's session to now? And ask her what she felt helped her. What helped support her. Oh,
He does not look like a wild Mustang right now.
right?
No.
And she is. She is,
And she
but
ain't no baby either. She's
right?
fully mature 10-year-old. And she's a big girl. She's probably 15, 2 hands. Not as big as Rango, but she's a big girl.
Can you drop a picture into the chat?
How did you take a picture? How were you able to get a screenshot?
You hit, well, I have a Mac, and if you hit Command Shift 4,
Oh,
you can
Yeah,
just
make a
take a
screenshot.
picture.
I don't know if you can. I don't.
Might have to email it.
Yeah, exactly.
The host and co-host can share pictures, but I don't
I don't
think
know how to take a picture.
participants can.
If you hit Command Shift 3, I think it does a whole screenshot.
But
Command Shift 4, I mean, I have a really great picture of when she had her head on his shoulder.
awesome. Okay, so will you send that to him?
Yes.
Logi capture.
Except do I have his, I have your Facebook maybe. I don't know.
So George at Eagles and Wild Horses.com. Is that right? That's your email?
Yes. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
So what did you guys notice and observe today? About how she was shifting, and also how was the communication part? Was it supportive to her? Was it helpful?
I got the word trusting when I asked her, how did you feel in the beginning and how did you feel now?
Mm-hmm.
I got trusting, and I think she likes the communication. I don't feel any hesitation with, she feels weird with the communication.
Awesome.
I think she likes the support from all of us.
Mm.
It's like, well, this is pretty cool.
Okay, George at Wild Horses.
George at Eagles
Eagle.
and wildhorses.com.
Eagles is plural, right?
Yes.
Yes. So now I'm actually reaching over, just kind of lightly stroking her right side from the left side.
Awesome. And I think that this is something that trainers should understand too, just like Chinese medicine. You might have a pain in your elbow, but the pain in your elbow might not be exactly where it's coming from. So
Oh, yeah.
if you want to make
Sciatic pain. Woo.
Yeah, like if you want to, help a horse feel trusting, it's not just that you could train them, it's that they actually feel safe, that they feel relaxed. Like they're not submitting to you, they're choosing to allow you in. And sometimes, we have that, nope, it has to be on this side. Like I have to be on her right side. But look at how much is happening by George being on her left side and honoring her. And how much she stayed with this whole process without having to be upset. He's doing way more right now in building trust and her choosing to come to him than he is moving her feet around, like he's not dominating the situation, he's listening.
I'm getting those feet moving, but they're moving out of her free choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does not look
You
10
are
years
beautiful.
old. She
Mm-mm.
looks,
No,
She-
she,
But didn't you say that
Yeah.
before though? She was
Yeah.
more like playful and childlike.
yep.
Look at this. This is a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Very.
And this is a horse that was a bag of bones.
Not even 2 months ago,
I couldn't believe those pictures
3 months
of her.
ago.
3 months ago.
Yeah. But I mean, the folks that pulled her out of the kill pen in those 60 days, I mean, they really kudos to them. They really got some, you know, weight on her and got her through strangles and everything else. And we've just continued that. And now we're working on the healing the emotional side and the trust.
Yeah, this is a hugely beautiful example of healing the emotional side, helping the physical. Not that she doesn't move right or she's got any, lameness, but she definitely would have a hard time if somebody came near her wanting to throw a saddle on her, And again, she doesn't have to be chased around a round pen to make a lot of progress with her. Her progress is going to go so much faster when that time comes because there's a groundedness. There's a sense of safety that she's experiencing with human. And then
And
for whoever
you
does work
can't
with,
see.
they're both safer.
I'm rubbing her entire right side of her neck.
Nice.
So, and she's
And
right.
that's-
And again,
We're in
I'm
1 hour.
people are like, I mean, a lot of trainers would be like losing their shit right now because I'm in such a vulnerable spot.
But that
Most
also,
trainers would have a stick or a pole or something and be standing 10 to 15 feet away and
Right.
running the pole or the stick on the horse.
and that's the fear factor of training a horse.
That's
You're
the fear
afraid.
factor.
So you believe that you are doing the right thing, but what you're doing is coming from fear.
Yeah.
This is coming from trust. This is going to go a hell of a lot further with a horse that's got a great mind that doesn't have to shut down.
Yeah.
And for the last less than 1 hour, because we're only at technically 50 minutes, look at how much more this horse is receptive to relationship. And look at this. That's the
Nice
first
look at
time that
that.
that's happened. She's like, what? All right, whatever.
She's up there. I mean, I'm really kind of have to do a reach. Oh, you're okay. Yeah. Huh. It's okay. We're going to do all kinds of silly things together. We are. And it's going to be fun. So that got really itchy for her. That was kind of like, I don't know,
Yeah, but
going back
I
to
mean,
dating.
she could have
It's like
freaked
that
out,
first
blown
time at a
up.
movie theater and your date puts their arm around your shoulders. It's
But she
kind of
could
like,
have freaked
wow.
out. She could have
Yeah.
blown up. She could have run away if her
But
nervous
I
system was still really tweaked. But soothing her nervous system, look at how she handled it and she can integrate it.
Yeah. And so that's, again, that's brings in the feel. And you can feel faster than you can think.
Feeling allows you to sense if there's going to be beforehand because you literally can
Yeah.
feel it coming. Your brain, when it gets to the point where it's here, your brain can only react. But
Yeah,
that's
and it's too
why
late.
another piece of why I love working with Qigong and why I love working with the Wu Wei, because look at how sensitive George was the whole time. He felt a little bit and he's like, now's the time to back off. Now is the time to give her space. I don't need to flood this horse. Now, she's done a tremendous amount, but she's not flooded. You know, she's integrating along the way. It's awesome.
We're off the camera. Come here, sweetheart.
All right, so how'd that feel to everybody? How was that in terms also of like a practice of expanding our communication skills?
Very good.
Yeah.
Can you see her processing? Am I really letting him do that? Really? Really? Am I really? I guess I am. All right, that wasn't so bad.
She's got an itchy spot here, but it's another vulnerable spot. Start coming around the girth, so not so much today. Okay.
What does everybody observe about her from the time we started to now? Because to me, whether we have clinical data that says, oh, her blood was this an hour ago and this is this, or we had a thermal camera, or we had a heart rate monitor. What are you guys seeing and knowing and feeling about what's taken place? What is she showing you took place for her? That's our data. What was it from the beginning to now?
I think she was carrying still some of that trepidation from previously, but as I was tuning into her, just felt so much the acceptance and the peace overtaking the trepidation of what's happened to her before, and her being so accepting of George. It's just night and day almost.
There's your data.
Yeah.
It's what the horse, there's your data right there.
Yeah, that's
Right
it. Huh?
there. There's your data.
That's
Horses
it,
can never
Cirrus.
lie. Gail, Candy, how was it for you? What'd you observe? Candy, you're on mute.
Yeah.
Why did I do that? I think she really likes her human scratching post.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is pretty awesome.
More, please.
She feels so much more peaceful, and she feels like she's found a happy place that she didn't know she had
Now
With
we're on the
humans.
belly.
Look
with
at
humans.
that.
Humans.
Yeah.
This is another magic spot. Once they trust you enough.
They keep coming over
That
and
good?
asking for it.
Is that okay? It's just different, huh? Yeah. Yeah.
This is the difference with
Gorgeous.
being with horse versus at horse.
She's, you would never know she was the same horse that we met a few weeks ago, in my opinion. I mean,
And the cool thing is that he's never even had a halter on her yet. And look at all the progress.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. And she gets to have her dignity. She doesn't have to get confused about things. She has choice about things.
Mm-hmm.
She
Which
might
is
be
a beautiful
confused.
thing.
Why do I keep going over to this? You know what I mean? Like, well, this is new for me. But she's not confused about what she's asking for, and she's not confused about trusting.
She's the one. So Truly's the dark black,
Correct.
whatever, and Truly would hide behind her. right?
and still does, or takes off.
She looked 10 years old then.
Look at this, you guys. Look at the right side now.
Yeah.
And we're literally just coming up on 58 minutes.
Got
No
a
treats.
massive whirl on her right side on her neck, which is
Interesting.
interesting. Big whirl. And that's the first time I've seen that.
So
what,
no
George?
treats, a whirl, like
Oh,
in
the
the
hair.
hair
Mhm.
pattern.
Yeah.
Looks like a hurricane.
Yeah.
Looks like a perfect hurricane. And whirlologists tie in a lot. And this goes way back into like the 1800s and cowboys counting whirls on the head and where they're situated and looking at, she's got a smaller whirl here. So look at you.
Mm.
Anyhow, so that was, and I asked twice for her right side. And I used my hand, but not to force, but to just, she's a smart girl. To kind of open that space up with using my chi. There we go. There we go. So that
No
was,
treats, no ropes, no poles, no, like nothing. Talk about
that was
trust.
probably 4 ounces of pressure just to open that space
Mhm.
that she was trying to close, and just asking her to trust me. And it's going to take a few times, but we're already, what do you say, honey? May I?
You're
Are
already
you
at
breathing? Yes.
75% of her whole body.
Yeah.
Look at that.
But again, I did the reach around to kind of, at least she was used to the touch on that side. She just wasn't used to my body. And she goes, would you get your butt back on my left side? And that's fine, sweetheart. And
And that is how you make a horse catchable to you.
Yeah.
They come and catch you. George doesn't have any treats. He's not using any food. He's not trying to bribe her. Honestly, he's not even telling her, hey, good girl, that's a great job. They're just flowing.
the
They're just,
word, that is another thing in the whole dog world, cat world, horse world. It's, oh, what a good girl. What a good girl. Who's the good dog? All of that. I want to be in this point. The words that are coming out of my mouth can be thank you.
mhm.
Thank you. You know, it's a level of gratitude
Right.
for opening up and sharing. It's not like, oh, good doggy, you sat down.
Yeah,
know,
but
here's a
remember
book.
too, in typical training, you're giving an obedience command that you hope the other being follows, right?
Mhm.
This isn't about giving any commands. This is that gratitude, like you just said. Thanks for letting me in. I understand
A
you had trust.
A partnership isn't based on, well, I mean, they're treats and rewards and stuff, but you know, you don't say 10 times to your significant other or what have you, oh, good spouse. Oh,
Right.
good significant other. Oh,
Debbie might
that
at
would,
times. We don't know.
I mean, but it's,
Well,
you find, you know, man, thank you is a powerful word.
Yeah.
It is one of
that's what
the
I
most
do a lot.
powerful words.
Yeah.
Is thank you, because it's gratitude based.
Yeah.
It isn't judgment based. Good is a judgment. Bad is a judgment. Bad dog.
Yeah.
Bad dog.
Exactly.
Good dog. I'm like,
And
you
it's
know,
all subjective
thank
too,
you.
because it's about whether they're pleasing you. It has nothing to do
Mhm.
with the interconnectedness of the relationship. And
Yeah.
that's what this is actually clearly demonstrating, an interconnectedness of relationship. Is
Yeah.
asking, is this okay? Are you okay with this? No? Okay, I'll back off. I give you space if you want to come back in. But it's
And now
not a
we're at a
demand.
level now. She was cleaning up scraps on the ground, and she was more than okay with me
Yep,
coming up and touching her.
right.
So we're now at that point in a relationship. You know, it's like once you're in a relationship far enough, you can put your hand on somebody's shoulder, and it's appreciated and it feels good.
Even when they're
But
eating.
still, even when they're eating.
Yeah.
So I mean, we get to the point we'll be sharing meals.
Yeah.
And I will probably be able to get some fly spray on a cloth and rubber down with it. Not completely, but portions. So
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
hi, gorgeous.
So this is in my opinion, this whole piece of connecting with her and communicating and communicating. I think this is going to be a really good thing to share with others. Is everybody okay if we share? Okay.
Cut out the
Yeah.
parts where I fell asleep.
Okay.
All right. We'll cut out. We'll probably just do a cut right at the beginning of working with Sarah.
Well, you were communicating with her still, just on a different level.
Yeah.
You know, I was actually feeling that piece from her, and it just made me just
Yeah. But you see how
relax.
too that the communication, even in the animal communication piece, right? Like we're constantly thinking it's us at them,
Mhm.
but it's also like they start like when Tahote gave us that big transmission, right? Like she's also now so much more receptive. Like look at her with the camera. She's like, oh, I get that there's other of you here,
Yeah.
not just George. So it's a beautiful thing.
And so I'm gonna have a little fun here. I'm actually gonna ask her to back up and see where we are.
Yay, there she goes.
There we go.
Yep.
Thank you.
Nice. Good. Good, Cirrus. Thank you.
Yeah.
So how training can even take place. No treats, no sticks, no halters, just getting back to subtle body language. You know, smallest pieces first. Are you feeling safe? May I touch you? Where would you like to be touched? Oh, thank you for opening up. May I touch you over here? Are you okay with that? Are you okay with that? It's not what I want you to do. It's very
Right.
different in terms of, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
And if not,
it's-
then let me back off.
And it
And I
is
know-
okay to ask her to move her feet.
Yeah.
That was one finger and a swirl.
Yeah.
It's not
Not
cracking
running
a
her
whip
around,
or
chasing her
thrashing
around,
a flag
chasing her around. Yeah.
And so again, it's a subtlety and an opportunity at softness.
If there's a horse, if there's such a thing as bomb proof, I want bomb proof because that horse is using its brain, not because bomb proof that horse has had the shit sacked out of it
Right.
and
Is-
you know
yeah.
is dead. I want that
Dead
horse to be like, I have a choice to make here. I could blow up or I could protect. And they make a smart choice. I don't ever want
Mhm.
training to shut down the intelligence of a horse. Ever. Now look at this.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
Feels good, huh, Cirrus?
whoa.
That feels good.
She's melting.
Yeah.
Now, here's the other thing too. And this, I think, tracks back to my PhD, right? With body alignment and behavior. So much of what George is doing in terms of working with this horse is totally directly related to her body, not to just her brain through her body, look at how much her brain is choosing to change respectfully. Then if he was trying to run her around with flags and all this stuff, and eventually she'd get tired and she might take a deep breath and her breath might change. But look at how much her brain is changing. Look at how much she's trusting, and now we're at 1 hour and 8 minutes. And look at that. No more like, hey, get out of there, but like, all right, I can actually look at you that you are touching me. And look at how far back you the whole right
Wow.
side.
Gosh.
Excuse me. Okay. Do you see now too how he said that bridge in the brain? Do you see how much she's bridging now? It's okay for him to be on this side. He's safe. I'm safe.
Man, she just had some big deep belly sounds. So that means, I mean, that she is going deep in her belly.
That she's digesting it from her
Right.
first brain. Right? She can understand things from her mental brain. Doesn't mean her gut brain is totally at peace with it. Him doing what he's doing is opening up that gut brain so that head brain now has a totally different ability to process. It really does start in the gut brain first, which is why we go body before we go training at intellectual behavior. She could walk away. She could do whatever she wants. Take a bow, girl. Take a bow. You go, good girl. There you go. Good bow.
That's like,
All right.
But do you see the bond now that she is making with him? That vulnerability, that softness. Instead of I have to protect my right side, and she's like, okay, we're buds.
And what she did instead of move, she just repositioned me.
Yep.
So, okay.
oh, look at that.
Right?
Hi. Wow.
Wow.
And so that is slow dancing at its finest right there.
Yeah.
This is a partnership.
Wow.
And it's where the lead can change. Wow, look at you. Yeah. A lot going on, huh? Yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Hey, wait a minute, where'd you go?
But watch. Let's see what she does, right? She's going to process. Now, literally, George is catchable. She knows where to find him. She knows that she's choosing it. She's coming into him. And this was a horse that he couldn't catch 6 days ago. Didn't want to have all this touch and connection. This is just what, George, 3 days, 4 days worth of work at
Day 4.
maybe an hour a clip.
Yeah. Day 4 really working with her instead of just little things in passing.
But again, no ropes, no halters, no forcing, no treats, no nothing. Look at how much has shifted because she's coming in and saying, hey, I want to interact with you.
She's being very respectful too, because when the flies
Right?
were bothering her, she didn't shake into him. She moved back,
Exactly.
shook him off, and then
Yep.
came back in.
Exactly. And look at George's energy has stayed consistent the entire time, regardless of what she's done. He's not all like, oh no, oh, don't do this. Oh, she could kick me. She could, right? He's cool as a cucumber. Can you see a shift in her face?
Oh my
And
God.
then, like in the quality of her coat already? Like no supplements, no nothing. Literally just from helping her open her energy in her body. and how everything is actually digesting and being absorbed even better. Like I'm all for supplements, but let's actually address the real root of why certain things are being shut down in the first place. And it's usually somewhere where we're holding our body tight inside, whether it's physical or emotional or psychological. Pretty amazing. May all horses
May I see your other side?
have the
May
dignity
I?
and the honor of being trained
There you
this
go.
way and connected with this way.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely.
Now look at her on her right side, 2 hands, which she wouldn't even let him go near that side at the beginning. And
that
again, we're not talking about a domesticated horse.
yeah,
We're
and
talking about a wild horse.
that peacefulness is still there
Yeah. Yeah.
on the right side.
Look at that. He's going all the way down.
Yeah.
This is so fun. This is my favorite kind of science.
Yeah. Just seeing where she was at the beginning and now
Right?
just amazing.
And how quickly, once she chooses that she feels safe, that this is a trustworthy human,
Oh, wow. Look at that.
right? Yeah.
Holy moly.
That's 100, it's almost full body except down her legs and
Yeah.
maybe her
Yeah.
ears. But that's pretty much her entire circle of her system. And
Yeah.
this is not a trained horse. This is a
Mhm.
horse by all means. She could escape, she could try to kick, she could bite, she could do whatever she wants.
Yeah, I'm
And she's got
full
the
on in
freedom.
kick zone.
Yeah, and she's got the freedom to move off anytime she wants. I hate when I see horses being worked on in halters. It just is so not fair. It's like, if the horse won't stay, then work on him in a round pen, but give them a place where they can move away, and you're not just doing something at and to the horse. You're doing something with the horse, and they have the ability to move away. And for her to just be touched, process that fast, and be back to looking for things on the ground. Not like, where is he? What did he do? Where is he going to be? You know? That's Wu Wei. That's following the flow. It's beautiful. All right. I've got to hop off,
Yeah,
but
so do I. I've
it's
got other
amazing.
stuff to do, but this is, I wasn't sure where we were going to be today.
Well, she wasn't sure either, so she couldn't tell us what was going to happen. She just let it unfold. Now, to the
Thank you.
degree that 45 or 50 minutes ago, she was like, you are not touching my right side. And to the degree that she's a wild Mustang that easily could have, gotten her head real quick and bit George if she wanted to, because she was like, you didn't hear me. I think that's a humongous accomplishment. And really demonstrates clearly for any trainer, owner, anybody working with wild horses, like what's possible, because this is not a trained horse. He has no idea of her background in terms of what she went through, just the fact that she was pulled off the book clips and she was starved, So her world is going to be pretty different from now on, but she's getting her dignity restored, but in total honor and respect of her being. Way to go, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
She's really quite beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is. I love the color of her mane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
she's
got that
got the
golden.
gold and blonde and red.
Mm-hmm.
Got some black in the tail too, so she's
Yeah.
tricolor mane.
And George, thank you for inviting us into, this sacred space of how you work with the horses.
Yeah.
It's really
Amazing.
And that's part of, I want to get to the point where I can share what we did today with a lot more people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We
that's one
are.
of the primary reasons I'm moving.
Yeah.
Is I can probably work with 10 to 12 horses and get them placed a year, which is, pretty darn good, horse a month. But I'd like to up that game to 120 to 1,000.
Mhm.
And that's going to mean mentoring and the ones I really want to work with. I don't want to work with horse trainers because they're too set in their ways. I want to start working with the kids.
Yeah.
That working with their natural feel and ability before it's snuffed out by our education system.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
that's part of my
Beautiful, beautiful.
goal is linking up more and more Mustangs with more and more kids and just mentoring the kids. Because kids know how to feel better than anybody. Except for maybe a horse. Yeah.
Good girl. Oh,
This is how I train horses to side pass too.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you guys
Thank
so much for an awesome class.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
You.
Way to go, girl.
You did amazing. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Nice, Iris. Thank you,
Yeah.
sweetie. You're beautiful. You're a beautiful soul.
Aw. All right, guys, have a
right.
fabulous
Have a
day. Have an
great day.
awesome week. And thank you so much. Let's let this energy field that we all participated in, let's just let it keep spreading out to the world
Yep.
week. Okay.
Yep.
And it's cool. The puppies were quiet.
Yeah, they're
I think.
sleeping. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, they're
that's
sleeping.
good.
They're
Rio
they're
was
right.
quiet. The dogs were quiet. Like this was a very peaceful.
Yeah.
Everybody got the chi. Everybody got the chi.
They're already responding to the come command
Aw,
at 6 weeks old.
aw. Did you decide which one you're keeping?
Well, Buddy, of course.
Okay. Big Purple.
Yep.
Are you gonna name him Buddy or what? What are you gonna name him?
Buddy said a long time ago that he's okay with that name because he knows I'll have a hard time calling him anything else.
You call him Buddy. I'm gonna call him Jethro.
I was asking Gail the other day, what was that name that Alicia said for him? So yeah, he's my buddy.
Look at you, sweet girl. Good for you. Good for you.
Well, everyone have a wonderful week and thank you so much.
Yes, you guys too. I sent you all my wonderful, peaceful video this morning.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'll send you the pictures that I took of Sirius.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Everybody. So
Great.
Love
right.
you guys. Have a great day. Have a great week.
Good.
you
You
Bye,
too.
everyone. Bye,
Bye-bye.
Cirrus.
Bye.